What we do here is go back.
What's up everyone, welcome to Data Driven Decisions. My name is Liam Hartley. We're going to be talking about how to build a cryptocurrency trading bot that's going to take you to the moon and trade in your sleep. So I'm going to be going over some of the theory about the trading strategy that we're going to use. We're going to backtest this one as well. I'm going to go through all of that, and if you want to jump straight in, it's all in the contents below. Just hit it, jump straight in. But for now, I'm going to give a little bit of introduction about myself and what you can expect from this channel going forward. Currently working as a senior data engineer, junior manager with one of the largest retailers in the UK. Prior to that, I was working as a data engineer at the largest asset manager in the UK, and I was on their graduate scheme, which I joined straight after university, where I graduated from Queen Mary, University of London with a master's degree in physics. Full disclaimer, just because I'm a senior data engineer does not mean I get things right all the time. I 100% am open to suggestions about where I've gone wrong, and I might check Stack Overflow, because Stack Overflow, no matter where you are in your career, Stack Overflow will never leave you. So I've also got some professional qualifications. I'm a certified AWS architect, so you're going to see me working with, you're going to see me working in AWS, and if you're interested in seeing more AWS stuff, let me know, because I'm happy to talk through that. I've also got CFA level 1, so that's Chartered Financial Analyst, so I've got some finance knowledge, and then the Investment Management Certificate, which is an incredibly easy qualification, but I'm just going to throw it out there anyway. Apart from my academic and professional qualifications, I love a side hustle. Check out my website, liamhartley.co.uk, it's got all my other stuff on there. Most notably is my blog on Medium, where I talk about other technical explainers. If there's anything on there that interests you, let me know. And also have some commentary pieces around the implications of things like social media and AI and algorithms, which again, very happy to talk about, because I'm very passionate about all of those topics. The other major project I've got is my football project, which is where I try and identify what's known as value bets using a systematic process with Python. So again, I can go into that if you're interested, but we're gonna have some very exciting reports on the football part of my website in the very near future, so stay tuned. Anyway, that is enough about me. Let's get into some of the theory and then get coding. So we're going to be using technical analysis to trade today, and technical analysis is just the study of charts to make trading decisions. So, you know, it could be as simple as if it crosses a line, we buy, but I'm not sure that's going to be necessarily a profitable trading strategy. So today we're going to be looking at, and I might butcher the pronunciation, but the Chande Momentum Oscillator. Chande. No, I don't know. Chande Momentum Oscillator. And the Chande Momentum Oscillator is a measure of momentum, which means looks at whether an asset is overbought or oversold at a given time. So are people buying this too much? Are people selling this too much relative to the strength of how the chart is performing? And it does that by looking at how many highs and how many lows there were over a given period. And that gives us a value between, I think, negative 100 and 100. Yeah, here we go, negative 100 and 100. And then from there we can give our bot buy and sell signals based on this number. So I'll put this link in the description if you're interested in the theory some more, but for now, I'm going to show you the backtesting engine. Okay, so this is the backtesting engine of choice. It's called Gemini. Shout out and Federico for creating this incredible project. As you can see, it's got tons of forks, tons of stars. Deserves it because this is an incredible repository, and it lets you pull data in from Poloniex, which is a cryptocurrency exchange of all cryptocurrency pairs, and then put your logic for your trading strategies into the backtester, and then it pumps out this beautiful little report. Do they have an example? Yes, they do. Here it is, and just shows you how your strategy performs. In this case, this strategy was performing at 40%, which is obviously an incredible turnaround. I forked off the project just because I added a few features when I was working on it last year, and this is what I'm going to use today for my backtesting. So I'm going to jump into my IDE now. IDE of choice is IntelliJ. Shout out IntelliJ. I really like a lot of the features on there, and if you would like to see a sort of part 0 of this video where I set up my virtual environment and my requirements and kind of give a basic overview of some of the Python that we need, let me know, happy to go over it. But for now, I'm going to assume that you understand the basics of Python, understand things like virtual environments and requirements, and jump straight into using the backtesting engine that we just talked about. Gemini is a class object inside the core, which is called Gemini. Gemini is one of these words which I think I'm going to say so much that it's going to start sounding weird very quickly. Gemini, Gemini core, Gemini master, Gemini. We're going to call this, I'm going to just call this the backtesting engine because that's exactly what it is. So the backtesting engine is that Gemini class object which we were talking about. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead and make a function called CMO trading strategy. And probably going to need to pass in some data and I believe the Gemini object as well, but could be wrong. And then inside this trading strategy is where we're actually going to do the check for the Chande Momentum Oscillator. Chande Momentum Oscillator, where we do this calculation. But first of all, we're going to need to get some data in here as well. So once you create this backtesting engine, it's I don't think my IntelliJ is going to get too upset with me. Backtesting engine dot run and then the data, and then so once I create this backtesting engine object with my logic, which is going to be my CMO trading strategy, and it's getting upset because it's defined below. So let's move these down. Can't spell strategy. Strategy, lovely jubbly. Boom. Yeah, then we would run the backtesting engine at this point, and the run, I actually do not remember what parameters this takes. So it needs the data, and we need to load up data. Again, sick repo, Gemini, because it does have a data module which lets you pull in data from Poloniex. From Gemini dot, helpers, import Poloniex. And Poloniex is that cryptocurrency exchange, which I keep mentioning, and then Poloniex, so actually we're just going to call it, it gives us back a data frame, so let's call it data frame equals Poloniex. What functions have we got? Get, here we go, load data frame, this is what we want. Pair, period, days, history. So I'm just going to put those in now so I don't forget. Pair, period, days, history. Cool. So let's make those variables up here so that we can customize this as we're modifying our trading strategy. So first pair we're going to look at, let's just do Bitcoin to Ethereum. Period. I think there's actually a way of defining this properly. Yeah, so it's like this. These are the periods you're going to work with. I'm going to do it on 1 day for now. That's not going to be a very granular set of data at the moment, but we can come back and change that later. Days history, how many days history? It's quite self-explanatory. How many days of data are we going to be loading? So just pump these in here real quick. Period, days history, days history. Boom. I'm going to make this my main function. I'm just going to print it out just to test that. And then also, this is why I love IntelliJ, right? Is this not backtesting, debugging function is sick. Cool, so yeah, I thought I'd set up my virtual environment properly, but I don't have pandas, so bear with me. My Wi-Fi sucks. This could actually take a while. We'll be right back. Yes, okay. We're there. Sick. Gosh, pip version 9, that's embarrassing. So hopefully that's everything I need now. Nope. Nope. Look at all these packages. Yes, we're in. So let's get rid of that because we don't need it right now. That's not what we're testing. We're testing the load data frame function to make sure we get some data back from it. So we expect to see a data frame off data, not quite though. What do we get? Invalid currency pair. Let's just do BTC USDT. So yeah, USDT is Tether, and Tether is a cryptocurrency which originally, every time they issued a Tether, they would issue $1. So Tether price was flat against the dollar. One Tether was worth $1. Then they had a bit of controversy because they started saying cash equivalents and they take out loans in order to match the their issuance. So they might issue, like they might take out a loan or they might take some leverage, and that would be equivalent to the dollar. And some people are like, well, it's not really equivalent to the dollar, but it's good enough for me. So what's the issue now? A valid period. Okay. So you get that one right. 300. Let's see what we get. Yes. Show me the data. Pair was converted. Sick. Cool. All right, so we got a data frame. Boom. So here is all of our data across 100 days, I think I put? Yeah, 100 days. So this is 100 days of data, highs, lows, open, closes, volume, quote volume, and the weighted average. So this is the data that we're going to be loading into our strategy. Now we've got that, we can move on. So need to get this backtesting engine working. We're gonna actually need to run it as well. So bring all of that in, and just gonna bring them both down into the main so that we can work through here. Sim params. All right, so let's just, sim, no, I'm just gonna call it params. Params equal, we need, what do we need? Capital base, data frequency, fees. My favorite thing to do in every project is to just add a load of to-dos. So all of these parameters, we need to do them. Where is it? Helpers, let's just put it here as well. Analyze. Cool. Analyze, so analyze dot analyze. Okay. Cool, so I think we've got what we need. So data is our data frame. Let's see what happens. Hopefully we've set up everything properly. Come on. Oh, yeah, yeah, all right. Okay, so here we are. So as expected, this is return the graph, which just says your equity has remained the same because there's no strategy that you've implemented. There should be, here we go. Here's the lovely report I've been talking about as well. So yeah, obviously no profit, same final equity as our original capital. None of the ratios or fees or whatever. So great, we have the basis of our backtesting engine. We just need to program in the logic for it to trade now, and then we are golden. So we need to get the CMO for this data, and how this data gets pulled is that when you run, it runs through every tick, and each tick is defined by one row in the data frame which we pull from Poloniex. So if I just give you a quick example of that, we're going to debug, and then what we're doing is jumping into this run method on the backtesting engine, which is the Gemini class object which we instantiated, and then here we are inside the trading strategy, which is being called by this, which I've loaded into, if I can click on it, the Gemini class object. And this gets called every tick. So as you can see, okay, so I've actually got these variables the wrong way around. So imagine data is called Gemini, imagine the opposite is true as well. And as you can see, our data object, which is currently called Gemini, we just have 1 day off data, but if I let this run again, it's gonna run over a second tick. And if I reopen this data frame, here we go, we've got 2 days of data now. And this is the periods which we were looking at earlier, which I can change and work out. I actually changed this for testing purposes. I think I originally set it at 300, but it's set at 1800 now. We can change these later. I'm gonna come back and optimize this. I think that's gonna be the second video at this rate. It took a little bit longer than I expected. So we only want to calculate CMO, Chande Momentum Oscillator, if we have enough days to calculate it for, if we have enough days on our period. So, for instance, like we don't want to calculate it if our period is 9 and we've only got 4 days worth of data, okay? I'm just gonna quickly change these just to avoid confusion. The Gemini object is like your account, and it has all of the information about any trades you're gonna make as well. I'm not sure we're gonna be able to see it just now. Ah, here we go, yeah, cool, account. So it's like how many trades have you got closed or open, what's your capital, your fees, etc. So this is all the kind of metadata about the trading that you're doing. Whilst the data object, this is really confusing, let me just reload it. Whilst the data object is actually just the data that we're loading from Poloniex, and Gemini is the sort of metadata about your trading. So I'm gonna move all of the parameters up here real quick. Not gonna make it easy for me though. And there's a new parameter we want as well, and it is called the CMO period. We're just gonna put it at 9. So 9 days from now, we wanna calculate the CMO. And let's see. So the amount of, at the moment we've got it per day. So if the length of our data is, if greater than our period, then we want to calculate CMO. So again, I'm going to do a def, I'm just going to call it CMO for now. And in CMO, we just need to pass in the data object. So CMO equals, you know what, I'm going to make this a bit clearer. CMO logic. So the trading strategy depends on what the CMO is, whilst the CMO logic is just the actual calculation of the CMO itself. Cool, right. So if we have enough days of data, we're gonna calculate CMO. Once we're inside CMO, we're gonna have 9 days of data. Let's just check that's true by putting a breakpoint here, coming into it. We can get rid of this now. Keep the IDE happy, you know, don't let them show you those squiggly lines at any time. Keep them happy with the Pepe. What the? Sick. All right, don't know what happened there, but cool. So if the length of data is higher than the period, lovely. So we have, I believe, 9 days off data there. Let's just check that. Oh, por favor. 10 days. So that's because it's greater than as opposed to greater than equal to. Is that what we want? No, we don't. Greater than equal to. Cool. This is why we debug. We go again. So once I have the data, so the data gets appended every time. So we start with the first day, the last day actually. So if we want to look back 100 days, it is that 100th day, 100 days ago. And then every tick is going to be 1 day after that. So it's going to be then the 99th day, the 98th day, etc. So the period that we want to look at is from the last point on that data set to 9 points before that data set, because if we're starting here on the 100th day ago and we want to go like this is how we want to calculate our CMO. So hey, we're in, cool, and we have nine rows, as we can see there, 9 by 6. So last day is the length of data, which is going to be the 9th day. First day is going to be length of the data, take away our period. We want the highs and the lows, so let's just look at the high. Yeah, cool. So this is the high on the 0th day, which is the first day, which is 100 days back from today. Looks about right. For Ethereum range, first day to the last day, if the data if I said it, but I didn't write it. for that given ticker is greater. So I need to work out how many highs, the sum of the highs and the sum of the lows. So if the close was higher than the open for that given day, then we've got a high. And if the close was lower than the open, then we have a low. If data open, la-di-da-di-da, day, ticker. Yeah, ticker's better. Then if the close is higher than open, then we have a higher close price. So plus equals 1 just means add 1 to that count. We're going to set the count up here. And then we're going to need a lower close price as well. Pepe, keep the ID happy, you know how it is. Elif, same but different. Open. Ticker? That's just not a thing, is it? Ticker. Lower. Boom. I need to blow my nose. So it's going to be the sum of the highs, take away the sum of the lows, divided by the sum of the highs plus the sum of the lows. So it's easy now once you've got everything, isn't it? So the higher, should have really called it the sum off, but the higher close price is the sum of those, divided by the lower close price, divided by higher close price, plus lower close price. You can put this all in brackets for good luck, times 100. Cool, so that should be a CMO. And then return CMO. Lovely, so let's see if that works. Boom. Okay, we got CMO. So 11.1111 sounds about right, I guess. Shout out Wolfram Alpha for the sickest website that did most of my physics degree for me. There we go, we're good. So we have a CMO value for that particular ticker. Now all we need to do, once we have this CMO value, we just need to say to our Gemini object, should I trade or shouldn't I trade based on this CMO? Okay, so now we have our CMO value. We need to implement some logic that says, are we going to buy or are we going to sell given a particular CMO value? So if we go back and check the old Investopedia, pull up the CMO. On the original graph that we were looking at earlier, you can see that when we get to these high values of CMO here, then that is indicating that the asset is overbought and it's time to sell. And obviously this graph is for illustrative purposes. So after this high, you can see that we get this downward trend, right? And again, when we breach perhaps -75, I don't know, then we begin to see a bull trend as well. Of course, this is for illustrative purposes. So in order to do this, we're gonna need a couple new constants. We're gonna call them the overbought value, and we're gonna set that at -50, or is it the other way around? When we've got the high value of CMO here, and then it begins the bear trend, the downward trend. So that is when it's overbought, and when it's been oversold, that means there's been too much momentum in the other direction. People have sold it too much and we want to start buying. So those are the threshold values. We're going to tweak those later on when we optimize the other parameters as well. But for now, that's what we're going to go with. So back down to where we've got CMO. Important to check where you can that your program is doing what you want it to. So we're going to assert that CMO is less than or equal to 100, and it's also going to be greater than or equal to -100, less than or equal to 100. Boom. The next thing we need to do is to then check our CMO value and then make the trades based off that. So if CMO is less than or over, so when it goes into negative, it's when we want to buy. So it's been oversold. So if it's less than our oversold value, which is the negative one, then we want to buy. Lol, not that easy. L if CMO is greater than overbought value, then we're gonna sell. Else, so is that ever gonna happen? Are we ever gonna have an else condition? Maybe. Let me think about it. But for now, we're just gonna raise a generic exception. So, to buy, using the backtesting, we're gonna do Gemini dot, what is it? Open turtle. I don't know what that is, but I like the sound of it. Open position, maybe? Position? Lots of positions. More positions than the Kama Sutra. This is all the stuff I can call on Gemini, and then within that we've got a count. So we are going to be doing enter position, and we are going to be doing close position, but these other ones we're going to need later on to build a more comprehensive trading strategy. So bring it in here, close position, cool. I think that's right as well. So oversold, we want to buy. So if it's oversold, okay, so I've got these the long way around. Yeah, it just wasn't quite sitting right with me, you know? Boom. So I'm just gonna put these in here. I don't quite know how to handle position yet, but we'll get there. Percent, I'm just gonna close the entire position for now and price at the data. You know, to be hard on ourselves, we are going to close the position at the low and we're going to buy at the high, which is obviously not ideal, but that is, you know, makes it more of a test for our strategy. Position. So I think it's going to be in the Gemini object again. Count positions. Cool. So I'm assuming that this list gets appended. So we're going to want to close, not necessarily actually, but in this case, we're going to close the earliest position, which might not be the most optimal way of doing it, but again, it's something we can come back to and we can enhance later. So cool. So type, which is okay, long, short, yeah. So type. So we're gonna go long. Yeah, we do need entry price at some point, but I was trying to do entry capital first. Entry capital is gonna be, we're gonna take our entry capital in this case to be 10% of our capital base. So we'll take that from our original parameters. I hate upsetting the ID, you know? Capital base, 10% of that. At the entry price, again, we're gonna buy at the high to make it a more stringent test of our strategy. Boom. That's the entry price. Exit price. Okay, so I can enter a position and kind of give it an indication of when to sell. So we could do a strategy where it's like, I'm buying in it here and my exit price is just at 20%. You know, I'm gonna take 20% gains, whatever. And then stop loss at, I don't know, 20%. But we're gonna try and capture as much alpha as we can by utilizing CMO. So I think this is everything we need. I'm gonna run the main program now, and just hopefully we get to see some sort of return. Okay, so the graph hasn't worked properly, but this has worked pretty well. Net profit 152%. Wait, how have I got, that's the benchmark. Is the benchmark's just gonna be holding, isn't it? 163%. And that, I think that was roughly what it was, 152. Yeah, So it's actually better to hold than to use this trading strategy at the moment. So it needs a little bit of optimization, but this is the basis of the beginning, you know, this is the beginning of getting a trading strategy to work properly. And now it's just a matter of optimizing this, tweaking it, seeing what works, and then. Okay, that is it. Thank you so much for watching to the end. This has been the pilot episode of Data Driven Decisions. Let me know if you're interested in seeing part 2, where we can optimize this strategy. We can deploy it out on some sort of serverless architecture on AWS and get it trading for real on the exchange. And you can watch me lose all of my money. I got nothing better to do during the lockdown. And if there's anything else on my blog or on my website that interests you, please let me know. I'm happy to cover off any of that stuff as well, if you're interested in seeing that. And I'm gonna put this on my GitHub, so you can just lift and shift this code. You can implement this trading strategy if you're interested. You can try another trading strategy, but I hope that this video gave you a sort of rough guide on how you can get started with your own trading strategies with cryptocurrencies, and how you can best use the Gemini repository to test those strategies as well. So thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you next time. Peace. Woo! It's Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, what? Bye bye. It's Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, what?